Adam. Oh, wait. Welcome to ComicCast issue number 154, brought to you by Dwayne's World Comics and Games, 457 East Solomon Street in Kingsport, Tennessee. They carry comic books, graphic novels, statues, toys, and gaming merchandise, including miniature games, board games, and RPGs. Check them out, Dwayne's World Comics and Games, Kingsport, Tennessee. My name's Boogie Bentley.
And I'm Adam Wade Adams.
I'm Jason.
And this is Gaumer.
We are at ComicCast Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, wherever you get social with your media. Also, if you are joining us in the live chat here on YouTube, be sure to smash that like button and share out the link. Also, if you want to catch the VIP pre-show, so VIP that Jason wasn't even there, you can go to Patreon.
That's right.
.com/ComicCastPod. That's it. That's all I got. We're done. Oh, we're actually popping to the top on YouTube. Thank you for caring today, YouTube. We appreciate that.
Good.
Yes. Very
Maybe
nice.
some people will actually show up. It's a conspiracy theory that the one show that Gomer doesn't show up for, randomly YouTube doesn't tell anybody that we're live.
I can either confirm or
Interesting.
deny.
Yeah. I mean, he's texting right in the middle of the show. He's like, how many guys are live? How many are in the live chat? I don't see anybody in the live chat. It's because Gomer's not there.
Sorry. I'm back this week, so it's all better. Don't
I like this
dwell
outright
on the
geekery
past.
conspiracy.
Yeah.
We could start a conspiracy theory podcast.
Let's not do that.
I actually thought I was mowing the yard, and I thought if someone was going to do a comic book conspiracy podcast, it would be Garth Ennis. He could probably just off the top of his head. Hey, UV.
I was going to say Jason's pug is trying to say their name too.
Everyone say hi to UV.
Yeah, sorry, I had to mute myself.
It's not ComicCast unless the
it-
pug's breathing.
It's fine. Part of ComicCast. It's a ComicCast mascot.
Who wants
did- we
comic
did-
book
we did have-
conspiracies? I want
we
to
did.
talk about aliens and 9/11.
We did have we did
Area
have one
51.
ComicCast. I don't even know if I could pull it up. The one ComicCast, our original mascot was what was it? What was its name? Boogie, was it Turd L?
Oh yeah, my daughter drew a picture of a turtle and she spelled it out turd-l.
But it ate waffles or something.
Yeah.
It was
Oh
awesome.
man, we got 6 in the live chat. Shout out to Jason Cruz. We also have Yul Carter and Chad Johnson in the live chat. Guys, do us a favor, make sure you smash that like button, share out the link. Let's grow this live chat. YouTube is actually promoting that we're live, so we appreciate you guys joining us. Anybody got anything fun to talk about? We didn't talk about any news this week.
Well, there wasn't any, man. Comic-Con pretty much takes all the air out of everything. So it's not really.
Did we make you proud
going
with our
on?
Comic-Con coverage?
You guys did, except for like, damn, this website's so freaking slow.
Well, he was using Internet Explorer.
Exactly.
True.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, if I have to hear one more time about Internet Explorer.
You're the only person I know
Same.
who uses it.
It should run fast then if I'm the only person using it.
I don't think that's how it works, but
Oh, sorry. That's why I
Yeah.
still use it, because I don't understand.
like an Edsel.
D-
It's the only person I know
Do you also
driving
use
an Edsel.
AskJeeves.com?
I've got an Angel Fire.
Yeah.
I've got an Angel Fire website.
I went to altavista.com to do a search.
What the hell? We need opening topics. It's not Bash Boogie Day.
Yeah,
Well,
this is quickly turning into an IT podcast.
yeah, kind of worth it.
Opening topics. I got my let's just jump into this that I'm so proud of. I got my Kickstarter Jim Cornette presents Behind the Curtain Real Pro Wrestling Stories.
Oh, nice.
A nice hardcover.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Very, very beautiful. It's got a lot of great stories in it. Some photos. He even put a glossary in the back of wrestling terms.
Oh, rad.
So, I mean, it's just really well done. Of course, the stories were from Jim Cornette, but written by Brandon Easton, art by Dennis Medry and Jordy Escuin.
Sweet.
and
Brandon Easton's awesome, man.
Letters by Tom B. Long.
I have a feeling
B.
mine's in
Long.
the mailbox, but I didn't check the mail. I meant to after you told me you got yours. I didn't
Yeah.
even look.
Tom B.
Yeah, it's a
Long
nice-
is the Transformers letterer. He's been lettering at IDW all the Transformers books since the launch there.
That's not the Blink 182 aliens conspiracy guy?
No, different guy.
Tom DeLonge.
It's IDW Limited. I
Yeah.
guess but man, it's really good. That first story talks about how pro wrestling effectively fought against Jim Crow laws in Memphis. So I mean, it's an incredible book. And then maybe in 2 months or 3 months or a year, I'll be able to compare it to Michael Kingston's book that we.
I knew he wasn't going to get out of this.
Oh, I'm so glad you buried it.
Yeah, I can understand delays and crap happens. I can understand that, but
Explain what you're talking about a little bit first.
So Michael Kingston has it's called
Headlock.
I think the Headlocked, and I think the first one I read was The Hard Way. But it's good stories. But this Kickstarter has been going on for almost 2 years? Is it
almost
2
the
years?
life of this podcast? He was on one of the first podcasts.
Yeah.
Promoting
Yeah, and we've been waiting, and supposedly he had a lot of life stuff happens, which life does happen.
Sure.
But in the meantime, he's going off to all these conventions. He was
Making
at Comic-Con,
making money,
selling books, making money, and it's like, finish this book. And the last thing he posted was a possible finish date of early October. And it's like, this beautiful, nice hardcover Jim Cornette book, start to finish, started way after his, and we just got it. So it's like, I understand life happens, but it's not like he's making a feature film or something. And I know he's waiting on other content creators to finish, but it's like, you got to have deadlines. You just can't.
He's working with some pros too, man. He's working with IDW. He's working with Brandon Easton. Brandon Easton knows deadlines. And I mean, it just sounds like Cornette did a better job of sort of planning.
Yeah. And Cornette's no nonsense.
Exactly.
I don't think Cornette had. I think Cornette showed up, told stories, and the creative team took off and ran with it.
Sure.
Whereas Kingston's doing it all, but there's still no excuse. I mean, when you're going to comic conventions every single, and you're bragging about it.
Yeah,
you're bragging about the hustle and the grind, and I respect that. But how about you take a weekend off from a con and put money in your wallet, and you give me the product that I gave you my money for? Yep. It's frustrating, man. But that's the risk with these crowdfunded projects, man. It's a big thing, and
for sure,
they should be held accountable for that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah,
I don't know if Kickstarter and Indiegogo should hold the money until it's fulfilled. I don't know what the answer is.
You can't do that, because it's the fulfillment of the money, or the divvying out of that money that helps to get the project done. Right. Yeah. I think they just need to be up front. I think they just need to be up front about it.
Chad Johnson says in the live chat, that's how I feel about Doomsday Clown.
Dude, that's an excellent point, really.
Oh my god!
But at least we can wait, and we don't have to pay for it until it shows up.
That's true too.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Also,
it's
the last
it's
issue of
just
Batman and the Max too is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I already forgot about that.
Right. It's easy to forget about.
Yeah, there's a Kickstarter though for I love the show Twin Peaks, and they fan made these like tarot cards that are based on Twin Peaks, and they were awesome, fantastic, amazing art, and they had a Kickstarter for it, and I wanted those cards, and it took them. I waited 2 years, and then I was like, this is never gonna happen. Like canceled, and they gave me a refund and stuff, and then like 8 months later, they finally released them. I was like, I should have just waited 8 more months after waiting 2 years. But like, it's so unexcusable that long of a wait.
Yeah, and people beef. Like, I remember Archie did a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo for a book, and there was a lot of backlash because you guys are a big name publisher. What's going on? But at least they fulfill. This was an IDW sort of centered, crowdfunding thing, and because IDW was involved, they had all of the groundwork already laid out to get it done. I think that's a good thing. I don't think we should gripe about companies who publish comics every week wanting to also do a crowdfunding thing. Freaking Hasbro's doing crowdfunding now for stuff. So I don't know. It's weird. But
my thing too is with when you have backed this project, it's like people love to rip on Ethan Van Sciver for Cyberfrog because it still hasn't shipped yet, still hasn't been fulfilled, but he's constantly providing updates. And
Yeah.
he's showing artwork. He's sending emails. He has a YouTube show where anytime you tune in, he's talking about it. Give me an update. Kingston has provided one update in how many months? It's
yeah. And that's the thing about crowdfunding. It sort of builds a community that is excited about the project. They've invested in the project. They're going to share the project to build even more excitement. And like you said, Advanced Skyver takes advantage of having that network to build more buzz and to let people know, even if he hasn't done a damn thing, he's still telling people, hey, look, get ready. It's coming. Keeps people excited. It doesn't seem to me like Kingston even wants people to know this project even exists anymore.
No, why? He's going to cons every weekend and slinging the old books. Who cares about this new one?
Yep.
If
you came out and said, hey, man, I need to make some cash. All my investment is caught up in this book. I need to go to a con and make some money. Hey, all right, dude, I get it. Go make some cash.
Yeah, I'm way more lenient when you're giving me updates and information.
Yeah.
Versus
the original
bragging.
estimated delivery for this book was February 2018.
See, that's almost 2 years now. Oh, late.
The only other thing I've backed that has been way delayed like that is the Larry Hama. I'm having buyer's remorse. Larry Hama G.I. Joe figure.
Oh, cool.
I backed that, and evidently, I guess according to the guy, they're having all sorts of trouble with the Chinese factory that's making these toys.
Yeah,
and so I posted this thing, and he actually posted one of the emails from the factory, and this guy's from the factory saying he's having to bribe officials that come and inspect the factory. So like all his money, and I guess he's almost going broke because of all these bribes he's having to give officials or pay these officials that inspect the factory. It's mess. It's mess.
I've kept up with that a little bit too. They're worried about having to pay more for importing them now too with tariffs and stuff. So yeah, that's a mess, dude. That Hama figure. But that's a G.I. Joe fan base, dude. They're gonna wait on that. They're gonna be so excited.
Yeah, but there's so many people just angry at that. And and one guy kind of got smart with me about it. And I love when you reply to people, and when I reply, it shows up beside my name, Super Backer, kind of like a big FU to whoever's saying something to me.
Yeah.
But the guy, because I had mentioned, well, maybe Larry Hama could give like a comment or something, not a comment, but just, say something to these fans to support the community, may do something, just provide something to I know there's a delay, but look, here's a sketch, something fun, just to fill up that gap of delay. And this guy said something to me, and I had to snap back at him because
you get him, man, you won.
No, it's just like,
I get it.
If you're going to do
that
this,
Karen haircut again.
Yeah, the the way I see it though, the longer the delay, the more communication needs to happen in there.
Agreed. Yeah, without 100%. A doubt.
But a lot of these people think the longer the delay, well, I'm just not going to say anything until I have something to say. Yeah. And then in that time, people build stuff up in their own head and get even more and more pissed off about it.
Well, it's too late then. They got their money.
Yeah. So, and this guy, he's got all kinds of social media, so I can, if someone wants to, they can blast them all over the place and
do it.
I would never do that when Papa John's is late delivering my pizza.
I know, right? What the hell?
That's all I use social media for, is to blast Papa John's.
My kid's pizza last night was 2 hours late. The driver got attacked by a dog.
Dude, if they're late, all you got to do is tweet it. They give you a 50% discount the next time, bro.
My kid felt bad. He knew the driver. He went to school with him.
That's not the Karen haircuts.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah. Usually I tweet at him and give him crap, and nobody says anything. Jason's in there making fun of me with Papa John's in the thread.
But so the last thing I posted a comment yesterday on Michael Kingston on that Kickstarter page, and I said just got Jim Cornette Presents Behind the Curtain, and it's an incredible book. hopefully in 2 months I could compare it to this one. How was Comic-Con?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's passive aggressive.
Yeah, and
Can
I've
we talk
got.
about something fun. This is hurting my feelings.
Oh.
Oh, well, what's fun?
Comic books.
Yeah, let's start with one that I'm the only one that read the damn thing. Go ahead, Bug.
I thought Jason read it.
Oh, did you read it?
Yeah, Jason read it.
Oh, good. Great. We got it.
Awesome.
Well, go for it, man.
Oh, shit. I think this is the History of the Marvel Universe #1. This very easily could have been the book of the week.
Oh, way to hurt my feelings again. I don't want to talk about this.
Mark Waid, pencils and colors for Javier Rodriguez with Alvaro Lopez doing the inking.
Great art.
Yeah, great art. VC's Joe Caramagna did all of those great letters. There were a whole lot of letters, too. Mark Waid, we shit on him a lot. It's okay.
We also praise him when he deserves it.
He's been writing comics since 1985. So he's had big hits, big misses, but he knows his shit. He knows how these universes work. He knows their history. And that's exactly what we have here, dude. It's the first, I don't know, from I guess the point of creation in the Marvel Universe, or maybe even just before that, to I don't know, the 1800s, somewhere around there, maybe close to modern day, about the time when Wolverine becomes, Wolverine, grows into his own. And the premise is basically Franklin Richards talking with Galactus, and they're reminiscing about the universe at the end of all things. And yeah, this issue was cool. It felt like a sort of a Wikipedia, encyclopedia sort of thing in graphic format, and it was cool. But it was really carried by the art.
Was that Franklin or Reed at the end?
At the end?
Adam, stop typing.
Not at the end, but I mean, like in the beginning. Was it Franklin?
Oh, that was
or Reed,
Franklin.
Richards?
I'm pretty sure that
Okay.
was Franklin. Yeah.
Okay.
The way everything plays out in the Marvel Universe, Galactus was like a being, and he has ultimate power, and then he becomes the sort of Big Bang, and then he goes in his incubator and becomes his thing. I think the way it works out is, at the end of the universe, after Galactus absorbs everything, Franklin then becomes the new Galactus for the next universe. But I'm not sure that that's exactly how it goes, because I don't think that's actually.
I agree.
canon.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen. Something like that. That'd be cool.
But really driven by the art, brilliant and creative art and design, just really super well done. Javier Rodriguez. It almost seemed like his style changed a little bit depending on what he was actually drawing and what portion, what time period those stories came from. It was really well done. He went from like way back in the 60s, with some Kirby stuff. And then recently in Avengers, Jason Aaron has retconned that to where the Avengers were actually a thing back then with Odin in charge. And when that was added to this history, it seemed like Rodriguez maybe changed his style a little bit. Wasn't as much old school and a little bit new school, but it all just really worked together very well. I loved it a lot. This is a great issue for what it was. I wouldn't think that anybody who doesn't love the Marvel Universe would enjoy this. Maybe they would just marvel at the art, and that would be cool. But unless you are a fan of the Marvel Universe, which I think we all are, you're not really going to get much out of this.
How much did this book cost?
I think it was like $5, $6, something like that. It was big though, and it was annotated.
Yeah, super informative. There were so many stories and things and details. Like, I guess some things I didn't realize before was what race is it that Charles Xavier's girl Alondra is? Is that
the Shi'ar? No, she's not a Shi'ar.
Yeah, I think that's Shi'ar.
Yeah, I think it's Shi'ar.
Is this a Shi'ar? Maybe. I don't know.
They're all from that.
But like, how their hair is like all wild? Well, apparently like those are feathers.
Yeah.
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 So like I never realized
Shi'ar,
that was like a wacky alien hairstyle, but yeah, I guess it's apparently the hair is like mostly feathers.
Yeah,
so I didn't realize that.
Evolved from birds, from avians.
Yeah. Right. I remember they evolved from birds, but I didn't know like that was they had feather hair, and that's why it was like so wild. And then also there's a almost like the pool in DC that Ra's al Ghul runs, like a resurrection kind of Earth pool. I guess apparently there's one like that in the Marvel universe as well.
Yeah, but it's like only one dude has used it though, right?
Yeah.
The one
like
guy.
Right. Yeah, it's a totally untapped well, if you will. But yeah, it's so cool. There's a lot of really cool stories and details. I'm really looking forward to the rest of these that are coming out.
Me too, man. There's a lot of minutia. Like there's one panel for Bloodstone, like Nathan Bloodstone or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
And like Mr. Sinister has a couple of panels. It's just really cool, man. You go through and you're like, oh yeah. And it's all like in order, in chronological order from the beginning of the universe to moving to the end. It's neat. It's fun. I'm enjoying
I like
it.
how some things too were like, oh yeah, like this beginning kind of wasn't fully explained, and then like this other one was like, oh yeah, this is how like Odin and some others like created Earth, but then it's like, oh well, we're not sure if that's like for real or positive or like confirmed according to like there's another creation tale and stuff. So it's just really cool to get all these small details. It's so fun and so interesting. So I highly recommend this book, which is so wordy. It took me forever to finish. I think I still had 2 pages left because I don't know. It's so good. It's so long, but it's so good.
It has a lot of words, and the annotations I think in the back were one of my favorite parts, to see where they got all of this information from and where it was put in order. And I mean, I don't think we can forget either, if this is canon, if this is the new history of the Marvel universe, as Marvel is accepting it on their weird sliding time scale where only about 20 years have gone by in an 80-year span, the stuff that's left out is not canon. It's ignored. We don't worry about that anymore. And I think that's the great thing about universes like this. We can just ignore stuff that we don't want to worry about right now. And our book of the week, we really get into ignoring stuff that we don't want to worry about.
And that's okay. That's okay.
It's the best.
I like it that way. Tell me the story you want me to hear. That's it. I don't care about.
Yeah, if continuity is going to get in the way, ignore the continuity. But if you can pull from continuity and make it a worthwhile story, that makes it even better. So
100%. And sometimes I guess I'm a hypocrite with it because I'll complain about some stuff, but it drives me nuts when people say, well, Batman wouldn't do that or Superman wouldn't do that. Well, guess what? He just did, because I just read it in a Superman comic.
Yep.
Maybe your thoughts of Batman, he wouldn't do that.
And I think people need to think about what their actual ideas of Batman are and ask, is this story trying to change your idea of what Batman is or could possibly be? And then maybe readdress it, critically think on it. But who wants to do that? That's hard.
Is that it?
Think. Yeah, sure.
Let's move on.
This next book could have easily been the book of the week.
Did Adam just unmute himself?
I did.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to let it go, and sometimes it just drives me nuts that I spout out.
Well, I was even though I muted my mic, I was like, I hope this isn't being picked up on one of the other countless mics on these devices that listen to you.
They're listening.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, is it on me?
It's you.
Okay. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go a bit into this, but it's Marvel's Epilogue. Call it number 1 if you want. But written by Kurt Busiek, art by Alex Ross, letters by John Rochelle and Richard Starkings.
It took 2 letterers for this?
It took 2 letterers.
Wow, guys, thank you so much. It's a team effort.
But I'm not done.
Shut up, Gaumer.
That backup strip in the book called Marvels was written by Steve Darnell with Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. Art by Mark Braun. Lettered, it says letter designer Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson.
We can just call him JJ.
JJ.
Who's going to letter? Josh Johnson. So if you don't,
this book could have easily been the book of the week.
Could it though?
No.
All right. So if you don't already feel old, this is the 25th anniversary of Marvel's.
Wow.
Yep. 25 years ago, Marvel's hit that rack.
I was there 3,000 years ago.
I got the acetate. So Marvel's the Marvel's books focus on photographer Phil Sheldon as he witnesses the rise of superheroes and supervillains. And it's told in the main Marvel series and the sequel, Marvel's Eye of the Camera. eye of the camera.
It's the thrill of the fight. Whatever, Chad. Young buck. I was born in 94.
Yeah, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
94. I was in
Dude.
high school.
I was almost graduated. I had like 2 credits to go in 94. I was
Wow.
so ready.
Gomer had
Swing.
4 kids and was driving a Camaro.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
A Camaro with a jean jacket.
Yeah. I wonder if Chad knows why in that thing in the meme in Stranger Things where kids
The
are trying
red
to figure
room?
out the red room.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh,
That made me feel old.
I asked my
Oh.
kid, who's a big fan of that, and he's like, "No, I had to Google it," but he did Google it. Yeah, I was like, "Oh no, I'm failing."
Isn't it
crazy.
weird that a series with so many 80s references and so many people like it weren't even alive in the 80s? You know?
I think that's the good. I think
Yeah,
dude,
it's
there's a
cool.
lot about nostalgia in those old school, like the old video games and old movies and old music. The kids just love that shit for some reason. I don't get it. Whatever.
Speaking of
Sorry.
nostalgia,
Speaking of old shit,
Nice.
Marvel's
Yeah.
Epilogue.
hold on, 25 years ago. So you're saying Chad Johnson was just born when Marvel's #1 hit the rack?
Yeah, where have you
Oh,
been? That's what we've been talking about
that-
for like
yeah.
90 seconds.
That fact just hit me.
He was trying to figure out who's
So-
Chad Johnson. What are they talking
He's like
about?
doing the math in his head. Wait, 94?
Got his calculator out.
Golly,
The guy had to take
usually
off
I'm-
his shoes.
Usually I don't need any help, but Chad Johnson just helped derail this thing. Chad, well done, bro. All right. So this epilogue, it's short and sweet, 16 pages long, the epilogue story. So Phil Sheldon is with his daughters, Rockefeller Center, seeing Christmas lights when the X-Men are attacked by Sentinels. That's it. That's the gist of it. One of the things to take away from this is that it's probably the first time Phil Sheldon's probably experienced one of these events with his daughters. So it's like a family thing now. And they don't fail to be Phil Sheldon's daughters because they want to stay and take pictures of everything and
Just
watch.
like Daddy. Just like
Just
Daddy.
like
used to do.
Daddy.
Just like Daddy used to do.
Yeah, the nuts don't fall far from the tree.
Well, I think you're missing a big point because old man is kind of like over it. Like he wants to leave.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to get in trouble with the wife.
Well, I mean, back in the day, it's kind of disturbed him seeing all the things that he saw in the first run. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. My bad, though. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
We're going to let Chad derail it.
No. Yeah, no worries, Chad. Don't worry, Chad.
Yeah.
But with this epilogue, I think they said it officially kind of takes place between issues 2 and 3 of the Eye of the Camera storyline. But if you wanted to just lop it on the end of the original Marvel's 4-issue series, which is what I want to do,
Yeah.
that's fine. It works. And also this story, its inspiration comes from Uncanny X-Men number 98 by Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum.
One of the best issues of X-Men probably ever.
Yep.
It's wonderful.
And the rest of the book is interviews, sketches, info on the Easter eggs that are within the epilogue story. And then there's also this Marvel's story that I thought it felt like Mad Magazine to me.
Yeah.
When I
me
saw
too,
it.
man. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
That's what it felt like. So when I originally saw that it was just 16, I didn't realize it was just 16 pages. I was a bit disappointed, but I'm happy with all the extra in-depth behind the scenes stuff they added. It really happened. So if you collected all 4 of the Marvels annotated like I did, this epilogue goes right with those. It goes great because it gives more information and fun stuff.
And if you didn't,
It's still
Then-
great art.
Then I got 2 words for you.
That's my problem. I mean, hearing you talk about it, it's cool because you read that original miniseries, you dug it, so you dug this. For me, man, what this cost? $5?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was less than House of X.
And it's what? Yeah.
Why would you compare it to that?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, one of these was good and one of them wasn't. If you want to compare books, dude, House of X, I felt like I had something special in my hands. This,
Oh my God, for sure.
this man. What'd you say it was? 16 pages?
16
Yeah.
pages of story
It
and
didn't
then
even feel like
annotation.
that. Felt like less
Yeah.
than that.
You know what? 16 pages is all they needed, brother.
It's Alex Ross art. I think
That's
16
all they
pages
needed, brother.
of his art is worth 32 pages of anybody else's.
That's the selling point. Is Alex
that's-
Ross
yes.
drawing Superman in this book?
Well, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
the one panel of him and Lois just hanging out in New York for some reason.
But also
Anyway.
all the extra stuff in the back,
Yeah.
with the interviews, it allows you to see their creative process and get in the minds of why they did stuff the way they did and the inspiration and stuff.
I
So
dug that a whole lot too. I dug that more than the story.
yeah, I mean, if you're just looking for the story, you're going to be disappointed. But if you take it as a package deal, then you're really a fan of the Marvels, like as a younger kid back in my young days when I had the originals with the acetate covers and everything, I loved it. They were my favorite books.
Man, I wish you were this passionate about comic books that come out now. I can tell how excited this makes you, and it's like I wish you got that now. And I feel like you just don't out of anything we read.
He just did.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I wish all the I wish all the
Once
other
every
comics,
10 years he gets a good book.
Yeah.
I wish all the other comics were as
Drawn
good.
by Alex Ross.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even think that was a selling point for him.
Well,
it was a continuation of the story was the selling point. And on top of that, this story, I think the original, the fourth issue, kind of ends on a kind of a downer note.
Yeah.
I think with like Gwen Stacy dying, that thing when Gwen Stacy's neck snapped from Spider-Man and stuff, it was really kind of a bummer deal. So this kind of gives it that push back up to like an optimistic, positive note of the Phil Sheldon and his daughters and the future of what they're seeing.
Yeah.
I like it. They showed Nova showing up.
That was cool.
And he's like, what can I do to help? And the police or firemen say there's people stranded, and he's like, I'm on it. And I thought that was cool. It's like they weren't like, go away, you dirty hero or whatever.
Yeah.
They were focusing on the positivity.
I could care less about this story. The story was good for what it was, but I didn't need like a continuation. I didn't really need it annotated. But the art in this is worth every dime of this book. Again, it could have been the book of the week just because of the art.
When Phil Sheldon bumps into Wolverine or Logan, and then Logan asked for a light or a cigarette, and Phil's like, I don't smoke, and Logan's like, you could have fooled me.
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize that Logan can smell that stuff.
Yeah. It's very well done, man. It's if you're a fan of the Marvels, you're gonna love this. If you're a fan of Alex Ross art, there's a reason to get it.
And Lois and Clark was in it, right?
For some reason, somehow. Yeah. Alex Ross just decided to paint Superman in there.
Is Jason still alive?
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah, sorry. I'm like so timid because like each time I pull up my phone to look at the YouTube chat or Comixology, just things start glitching really bad, and I put it away and then wait for the feed to go back to normal speed and catch up. So I'm just like super nervous and anxious. So apologies for being quiet.
You read this though?
I did not read Marvels. I looked at the art for the first couple pages, and it was beautiful. And I really wanted to read it, but I didn't read any of the other Marvels annotated stuff previously.
Sure.
So I'd rather read those first and then finish it off with this one.
And I got the photo cover, which was really cool. At first, I was like, "Did Ross paint that? That looks real." But then it's an actual photo cover.
I think it's Kurt Busiek, right? Or no?
I think it's a friend of his.
Oh, okay.
That he got to dress up because he looked just like how Sheldon would look. So,
man, Alex Ross was on 60 Minutes or some shit, and he showed off like his house and where he works, and it's like a museum. It's amazing.
And then you found $20.
Yeah,
Alex Ross belongs in a museum.
Hey man, I'm just trying to get a good joke in there. Somewhere somebody's appreciating that.
Somewhere you've got to try to get them in when you can.
Unfortunately, I guess this is the end of Marvels, I guess.
Well, they'll come back to it, right? They should. If they can pay Alex Ross enough money, they'll come back to it.
Yeah, we can hope. I mean, if it continues on with the daughters, that would be cool. But
that would be.
Yeah.
I'll read it.
They were a bit optimistic with stuff exploding and Sentinel arms flying down to the ground and stuff.
I think it's sort of. I think that's sort of cementing how people are used to it now, and they're used to it because of his coverage throughout the years of everything that's gone on. He sort of sensationalized everything. I think that was the point of Marvel's. It was a weird sort of deconstruction of the superhero genre, where comic books sort of sensationalize everything, but if you're a man on the ground in the middle of that, it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's one of the appeals of Marvel's.
We'll get into more.
It was trying to be Watchmen.
We'll get into more Sentinels with, I believe, with House of X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I can't wait. Let's go.
You want to just skip everything else
No, we can't.
Yeah. Oh man, we could just talk about House of X the whole entire show
for an hour and a half? Just
I could
House
go
of X.
panel by panel.
Yes.
I could go panel by panel with that book. I almost want to.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on. This next book that Boogie's going to review could have been the book of the week very easily. Could have been the book of the week, but it wasn't.
Valkyrie #1. Jason Aaron and Al. Wow, this isn't even Patreon, and you're puking in your microphone.
I'm sorry.
Al Ewing, art by Kafu. Thank you, Kafu. Colors by Jesus Arbitrab. Letters by VC's Joe Sabino.
Joey Sabino.
I honestly I was just going to sit here and read the first page to you guys. Probably would have been easier, but during the War of the Realms, Jane Foster picked up the hammer once again. But didn't last long. Malekith's army killed all the Valkyries, so when it's all said and done, Jane Foster took on a new role. She is the last of the Valkyries. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty much sums up that first page.
That
Sums up this whole issue.
Yeah, from War of the Realms was pretty much for this point, in my opinion.
Well,
it was for multiple. Yeah, they set up several books
Aaron's
coming out of it.
Yeah.
But this book, man, it starts off Jane Foster taking out a bunch of forgettable villains.
C-listers at best.
When it started off, man, I did not care. It felt pointless. But then one of these cats managed to make a run for it with Dragon Fang. And I still didn't really care until this mysterious person, and I'm not going to spoil it, but
we should.
We can in a minute. But that picture, at the very beginning, you could tell who it was. Easily. But anyway,
who was it?
We'll get there. This mysterious person steps out, takes the sword, and kills this foot soldier / stormtrooper type villain. I like the line, though. It's always easier to steal what's already been stolen. And I was like, all right, Jason Aaron, you got me. You got me here. You got my attention. The rest of the story kind of balancing between Jane Foster and her as the Valkyrie, which I like. Normally I like a Jane Foster story. I like a Peter Parker story. I like a Clark Kent story almost more than I like the superhero stuff. So I kind of like seeing her as Dr. Jane Foster, even though she gets demoted. But it just sets up this mystery moving forward. Who has Dragon Fang and what powers will they gain by being in possession of this sword? I dug it, man. I at the first few pages, I thought this is not going to be good, but it's Jason Aaron, man. He got me. I enjoyed it. I probably won't read it monthly, but I'll probably pick up the trade when it's all said and done.
Nice.
Jane Foster, Australian for Thor.
I won't pick this up. It was just okay. Underyarn is cool. It's the coolest weapon in the Marvel U right now. I love it. It sort of just does whatever it needs to do in the moment to be a thing. You know the biggest takeaway I had from this issue? The social media website in the Marvel Universe is called URox, which is like owned by Roxxon, which is the evil oil corporation in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
There's so much I could say about that, but I probably shouldn't.
If you want to get assassinated.
Right?
Oh, wow.
Dude, it's weird. That is just weird to me how they're sort of building that up. But can we spoil the reveal? Can we?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And it's so weird. It was so awkward to me. Why?
You totally glitched and they still didn't hear it.
Oh, it was Bullseye. The Daredevil villain, Bullseye. Did you guys hear me that time?
Yeah.
That last page was classic, though. I love it.
So Bullseye was hanging out with C-listers?
Yeah, he
Well,
totally
was
jacked that
weird.
one dude in the alley, and I totally knew it was him. Like that, I bet that's Bullseye. It looks like Bullseye because you see the outline of the gloves. You know, I'm like, but why would it be Bullseye? I
It
thought
makes
was
no
so
sense
weird.
to me at
Yeah,
all.
until they were like, oh yeah, it's the ultimate Valkyrie weapon. Then I was like, oh man, well that's really cool. That Bullseye, there he is. That Bullseye has this ultimate sword, this Valkyrie sword, when he can kill anyone with like a paperclip. So much less like the super awesome, powerful weapon. I'm super excited to see him use it. Hopefully he uses it. Like we'll see, but I mean he doesn't need it.
Oh, and he's got a My Little Pony. Awesome. He's got a
What
My
does he
Little
do?
Pony.
Yo, Valkyrie,
That's what's so great about it, dude.
Yeah.
Valkyrie.
The sword
I got,
gives you instant access to Pegasus. It's amazing.
Oh, okay.
so he's like, Valkyrie, I got your sword, got your horse, and then he just takes off. Nah, got
No,
your
you
nose.
Wait. I can tell right now. You didn't read this, did you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
Of course not.
No, I have no interest in it. No.
Yeah.
You sure
It's
do
just
like making
okay.
fun of it, though.
I like making fun of anything because it brings me humor.
Yeah. I
Bullseye
don't
riding on a freaking Pegasus with a big sword brings me humor and happiness.
I don't know. It just seemed a little bit out of place to me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, superheroes flying and
Whatever.
shooting webs out of their
No.
wrists.
I agree.
Because
At first, I was taken aback as well. At first,
She
I
just
thought it
got
was a
done
really
having
weird
this
choice
big
for a villain.
conversation with the first Valkyrie about how important this job is and it's such a big deal and you have all this power and Thor is a title, but being a Valkyrie is a job. And who's she going to go? Just some Joe Schmo who can aim well. Come on. That's Bullseye's power. He's got good aim.
Is that
Come
is she
on.
like the person who just got onto the police force and then her police car got stolen
Exactly.
and with her gun stolen?
Yeah.
Like it's like she just got this job and her stuff got stolen by the criminal.
It's just, I don't know. It seemed out of place. But this
She
still,
gonna have-
it was good art. I really liked Kaufman's art on this.
If we had the right people in the chat,
Yeah, I
it would be
love
time to
Bullseye.
mute Adam.
Yeah.
I love.
Well, you
Bullseye's
can like
villain,
Bullseye.
but, you know, he's such
Yeah.
a jerk, and I love his solo series too. But like, man, I thought it was really weird taking it back too to see him be the rival against Jane Foster, Thor, Valkyrie. So yeah,
Yes.
really weird choice.
I thought it was an odd choice.
She's going
I
to go
didn't like
back.
it.
She's going to go back to the Allfather, and he's going to be like, "Your pony got stolen again, didn't it?"
Yeah, your pony got stolen. Yeah, Dad.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Gomer, who do you think? Who do you think would have been a better choice instead of?
I
Bullseye?
don't know. Somebody Norse related. Somebody
Yeah.
from the Thor,
Right.
books. Some Thor villain. I don't know.
But then what would you have said when you got to that last splash page and it was just a common Thor villain that you're used to? It's like, oh, okay, here we go again. Same old crap, nothing creative.
Well, maybe, but
I'm trying to think
that-
because, like, I mean, there's like, I guess Valkyrie's job is to, transport the dead.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe there could be a villain where, like, maybe it's like a everlasting kind of life villain, some kind of creature that would like live forever. Like maybe she battled the Mangog again or something. I don't know, man.
that'd
We
be
needed
okay.
something different. I was expecting a bigger villain, not Bullseye.
I was expecting a better villain.
Yeah.
If they
I'm
really
not a bigger
wanted
villain.
to-
I'm not a big fan of Bullseye.
Still,
Honestly, his
man.
power is he can aim well. That's his power. He's got really good aim.
Yeah. I just like his
Yes.
personality, man.
Joel
his
got
style
it.
Oh, no, that's
is really
cool, that's
twisted.
cool.
Yeah, super
Joel
twisted
got
guy.
it in the chat. The wrecker.
The Wrecker.
Oh, yeah.
Because aren't they criminals?
Yeah.
It would make sense that they would steal this, or it even could be someone who thinks that Jane Foster doesn't deserve this title or this sword.
They kind
Or
of
whatever.
blew their Wrecker and the Wrecking Crew wad when they had the D-listers at the beginning of the issue doing exactly what the Wrecking Crew do in every Avengers book ever. Just there to steal stuff and get beat. But I don't know.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
he
all
could
have
show up with a
rollerblades.
crowbar, but I mean,
Yeah.
a crowbar's only beat one person, right, Robin?
That's right.
But
I got into an argument the other day about that, about how they were so sad that Jason Todd got a raw deal and that Batman didn't kill the Joker then. And I'm like, dude, that dude's still alive. Jason's still alive. It's okay. He's still around. And he's so much cooler than just an average Robin. But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I digress. And $20. But Valkyrie, yeah, very easily could have been the book of the week.
What do you mean by that?
I
What does
don't
that
know.
mean? I'm really confused with what you mean by that.
He doesn't necessarily mean this week.
These were all great books this week. These were just all great books.
Man, you sure didn't seem like it was a great book.
Valkyrie was great. The art was awesome. I love that weapon. She's a cool character. I love that they're still using Jane Foster. I love that she got demoted as a doctor. They're still playing off of her, alter ego. But the whole bullseye thing just really was sort of like, it was like the turd on the sundae instead of the cherry. It was
you know what it is?
What did you guys do to this chocolate sundae? You ruined it by putting a turd on it.
It's all about expectations. It's all about hype and expectations. I went into this not expecting to really enjoy it. Yeah. And I got some enjoyment out of it. So it's kind of like, oh, this is good. Versus we were talking about Mr. Miracle last week. And I went into it thinking, this is going to be the greatest story of all time. Yeah. So then I came out of it just going, oh, this was good. I enjoy almost the same attitude towards both books. But when I sit back and look at it, Mr. Miracle is so much better than this. But you know what? Does that make sense?
No, I get it. It does.
You know, like when you're in school and you don't feel like doing work and the teacher's like, we're going to watch a movie. It can be the worst movie in the world, but because you're watching it in school, it's good.
Yeah.
I just went to sleep. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Batman Curse of the White Knight. Number 1.
Okay. I'm lagging hardcore. I finally caught up with your conversation. Hopefully I'm talking on time.
Yeah, everything sounds good.
Okay, Now it sounds good. Okay, cool. Good response. Okay. Written and drawn by Sean Gordon Murphy. The only thing you really need to know going into this, even if you missed the whole entire prior series, is pretty much that at the end of Curse or White Knight, Joker is in prison. There was something hidden underneath the floorboard in Alfred's room, and it was left out as a cliffhanger, open-ended. You don't know what it was. And then also Batman revealed his identity to Commissioner Gordon. And then going into this one, unexpectedly, it starts off in 1685. It's old, I guess it used to be Fort Wayne Fort something. I forgot what it was called. Fort Gotham. Fort Arkham. Yeah, Fort Arkham.
Was that Arkham Manor? Arkham Manor.
Yeah, right. Then previously, before the fort was Arkham Manor.
This is the same moment that Jimmy Olsen's great-great-great-grandfather had with Lex Luthor's great-great-great-great-grandfather last week.
Before he turned into a turtle.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That whole entire mess of a turtle. What a terrible issue. God, I hate that issue so much.
Dude, the bullies reviewed it, and Leroy really liked that Jimmy
really?
Olsen book. Yeah, it was weird. Never mind.
Yes, different strokes. I thought it was really cool seeing this Laffy character, Lafayette, because he looks like the Joker, and he goes on to tell this descendant of Bruce Wayne that Gotham is cursed, that this whole entire area is cursed, and he's like, oh, I don't believe in curses, and stabs Laffy, and Laffy goes into like a well, and then later on, it goes to present day, and it shows Joker with the warden of Arkham, and he's like, I guess the warden is breaking Joker out of prison, and Joker needs to get something out of his cell, and it's this big secret that's going to take down Gotham or something, and it's just a big bag. You're not sure what's in it. And then later on, it cuts to Bruce Wayne. He finds what's under the floorboards. It's a diary, this really, really old ancient diary, and also a whip made of bat leather, which I thought was really cool.
Weird.
That's
cool. Yeah,
that was
weird.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. Little bat leather Indiana Jones whip. I thought that was really interesting. And then it goes to Batman talking to Commissioner Gordon, saying how they don't believe this warden is telling the truth. Batman scares him, gets the truth out of him. And they go to Joker's cell, and they find like a little secret compartment like behind Joker's cell, and it's the well, the bottom of the well, and they're down there. They find a body, and then it cuts to Joker, and is this Amanda Waller he's talking to?
That's who I took it as.
Right, I think so. And he tells her that he has some big plan going on. And she's like, "I'm listening," and then it just stops there, and that's all you get out of that scene. And then it goes to John Paul, Azrael. I guess he has maybe cancer, I'm assuming, right? Because he worked on something with exposed to napalm and a bunch of other chemicals and stuff. I think he's ex-military. Is that what this origin is? Mm-hmm. He starts freaking out, and then you find out later Joker pops in, and what he had as this ultimate weapon or whatever to take on Gotham that was in the bag in his cell is this sword that powers up Azrael. So now that's kind of how it ends with Azrael holding this fire sword. So I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on and a lot of questions. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shorter series. I think it's going to be 6 issues, 8 issues.
I think so. I think it's 6.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I love the art. I think Sean Gordon Murphy is a great artist, great storyteller. And I highly recommend anyone who is an artist to just write their own comics, because you don't need anyone else besides yourself if you're an artist. But yeah, I mean, I'm very, very into this. I think he said that this is going to be a totally different series as opposed to the last one, how it talked more about, Gotham and the Batman funds. It's more like kind of a real life political kind of turn on Batman, the nice, perspective of that. But this one is more just kind of fantasy. So I'm in. I'm definitely going to read them all. But yeah, a lot of questions.
Yeah. I think you did have to kind of read the first run of this to really get what's going on with the whole.
Really?
Well, they have that whole Gotham GTO or whatever it is. And
yeah, you're right.
The Batman fund. And
yeah.
he even sort of alludes to the point that there's rich people who are freeing villains from Arkham to destroy stuff so that they can take advantage of this government supported fund, this public supported fund. And I think that's cool. I love everything that Sean Murphy does with his little corner of his own little Batman universe. I think it's really cool. Anytime an artist draws the Batcave, I love it. And there was a great shot of the Batcave in this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Again, honestly, we've reviewed great books this week. This could have been the book of the week. Easily.
I agree, for sure.
So good. I loved it.
I wish this would have had like a little tiny forward so that people could have just jumped on without reading prior, because there's not much details you need to know. You just need to know,
Well, you can't sell back issues doing that.
Small little snippets. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, it's just a shame for someone who wants to jump on right now. They're like, well, I guess I got to read all this stuff for it to make sense. But
who cares if you have to or don't have to? Go back and read it.
It's good.
I sat down.
It's worth it for sure.
It's hard for me to read old stuff leading into the podcast, but I read all 8 issues of Whatnot for the second time. And then, man, I forgot how good it was. When I finished issue 8, normally I wait on podcast stuff until late in the week, and I just went right into issue 9.
Nice.
And it's a continuation, man.
Yeah.
The stuff with the Joker sneaking back to his cell, the letter from Alfred. Are you kidding me, dude?
Yep.
What an emotional moment, man. And then he stands up on the rooftop with Dick Grayson. And oh my gosh, it's so good.
And Murphy made a point of making that an emotional moment the way he wrote the panels out. It wasn't a word balloon. It wasn't even an inset. It was just text in the blank spot of the panel. Just very, very well done. All the way around, dude. This dude is a comic book creator all the way around. Design, writing, art. Sean Murphy's the real deal. They need to give him something in the actual DCU proper,
dude,
soon.
I'm getting chill bumps thinking about that letter. I'm serious, because you couldn't have got as much from the letter in this issue as you did when you read the original Whatnot series.
No,
Get the reveal that Alfred got up and basically gave Bruce. He gave up his life for Bruce, man, and it was such an emotional moment in that first series. So good, so good. And
do you think we're gonna see? Do you think we're gonna see Jason Todd later on, the first Robin? Because he went away, and then he's alive though, as we found out. At the end of White Knight, when Batman thought he was previously dead.
I think we'll get to all that. I think we're going to get to all that.
I think so too.
Is this the best Batman story coming out?
There's a lot of them. It's difficult to say. I don't know. Detective Comics is still rad.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun today, man.
Yeah, that's in my random reviews. Adam said last week. You didn't read this, right, Adam?
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
Oh, good.
Well, yeah, I want to get your opinion, but you said last week that this wasn't needed, that you thought the story was done, and he told the story he needed to tell. And I just kind of shook it off. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Until I reread it, and I was like, no, this is not over. There is so much he can do. Dude, that last issue of Why Not, when Bruce takes off the mask, that alone is what's going to happen from here.
Yeah.
And he was debating on telling the city in this issue.
See, I kind of thought that's when he took the mask off. I thought that's the direction he was going, but it seems like it's just Gordon was the only one that knows. But we're establishing that now with what I'm calling issue 9. This is not issue 1. This is issue 9.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
Adam, so what did you think?
I'm not, over overjoyed with it as you all are. I mean, it wasn't as mundane as I thought it would be. Just like just stretching out to continue this story for the sake of putting something out to sell. But there was a lot of good stuff in it, like Batman displaying his detective prowess on the warden when the warden was trying to lie about the Joker, and he just called him out. I thought that was awesome. Joker running around wearing a Batman shirt. And when he's with Amanda Waller, and I think it's Amanda Waller also.
I think so.
He had the classic pistol, but with the extremely long barrel, which is like a Joker mainstay in my opinion.
Yeah, 1992 Joker for sure.
And I thought they did a good job with Azrael, not just displaying him as like a religious zealot, but actually kind of getting more into the person and just how mentally unstable he is.
He's tragic. He's a tragic character.
Yeah, really. So I thought it was good. And I think it's good enough. I mean, I didn't realize it was a Black Label on top of that. So I think I will pick up the second issue to see where it's going. Do it in this world. I mean, this is obviously like a different timeline. Yeah. So is this? So I'm assuming the what was that storyline? Was it Nightfall, where he took up the Batman mantle? I'm assuming that never happened in this.
Yeah, I don't think anything's.
No,
I don't think much has happened except for the foundational things that make Batman who Batman is. I think those are the only things that have happened.
So this is kind of like he's not even Azrael yet, I guess. In this, it's not like he was Azrael and now he's going back down the rabbit hole to become Azrael again.
Agreed. Yeah, it's like a brand new thing.
First time.
That last page that I just showed is where.
Yeah, that last page.
Yeah. So it's like it's kind of like the Gotham TV series where that Azrael was the creation of Azrael. It wasn't he was already around. So in that, I think it's very interesting to see where this goes and the fight. I like Batman's costume in this too. It's kind of like Gotham by Gaslight kind of deal. His costume
tactical. I thought it was more tactical than old school.
Yeah, well, he's got the big pop. He's popping his collar and all that.
Yeah,
so.
True. He's got a big old belt. He's got like an 8-inch wide belt.
He's styling and profiling.
Yeah.
Joker's outfit in this is the same as the beginning of his outfit in the beginning of White Knight.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun. I like the part where Azrael was like, "Are you an angel?" He's like, "Yes." Joker's like, "Yes, I am."
Joker's like, "Sure."
Yeah. Again, man, this is a great book. There was nothing on our reviews this week that was bad. I mean, all of them were just really, really solid books.
This is my favorite thing I read this week, hands down.
Could have been Book of the
Week,
Week,
man.
I was X-Men for sure.
Gomer opened it, found $20.
Yeah, maybe second.
And I would highly recommend anybody that's not read the original White Knight series to go read it, dude. It's so good. So
agreed.
Good.
Yes. 100%.
All right, let's get into some random reviews presented by Collar and Elbow Brand. You can check them out at collarandelbowbrand.com. Use the promo code ComicCast and save 10% on the latest and greatest professional wrestling merchandise you could possibly want. It's pro wrestling T-shirts that are actually cool. You don't want a wrestling T-shirt with like a big picture of somebody's face that looks goofy. But there's some good stuff, so check them out, collarandelbowbrand.com. I'll go first. We talked a little bit earlier about Detective Comics, number 1008, Peter J. Tomasi. I've loved his run. I really have. I know you guys weren't really sold on the Arkham Knight story arc. I liked the way he told that story, the reveals, who the Arkham Knight really is. Loved it all. The Spectre story arc was good. I think it was a little too short. It could have been even better. Should have gone longer.
Agreed.
This was more of a filler issue. This felt like an annual Batman following the Joker around an amusement park like a little lost puppy.
How cool is that opening page though with Joker's face?
I tweeted that out.
Detail?
The artwork. Doug Mankey, is that how you say it?
Yeah,
super talented. Draws a great version of the Joker. But even on top of that, the colors, Dave Barron on the colors was fantastic. But this in the grand scheme of things, probably pointless, but still
Yeah.
a fun story with great art. And we'll see where he goes next.
Isn't that the point?
Exactly. If you can read, sit down and read it and have fun with it, that's the point.
Exactly.
It was almost like classic Silver Age Batman.
Yeah.
It did
was a
feel
great
like that,
throwback,
dude. It didn't try to care about anything else that was going on, and I respected it more for that. Where's the Joker been? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Where's the Joker going after this? Again, it doesn't matter. Just enjoy him in the moment. And, man, when he blew off the hot dog vendor's head, I was like, all right. Well, it didn't blow off his head, but it had the explosion and the laughing gas.
Laughing gas, yeah.
Love the laugh stuff, man. I love it.
Yeah,
it was old school and new. It was great. It was wonderful. Great choice.
When it got to the point where they went through like the tunnel of love, I was just laughing so hard,
dude.
Yeah. But I put myself in a different mindset. I was like, okay, when I get to the scene of like they're going through tunnel of love, I'm like, if this was written by Tom King, I'd probably be really upset right now. So this is really stupid. And then I'm like, why am I being so forgiving of this? Well, I'm like, well, it's not connected to anything bigger. It's just one small story, and it felt like a great throwback. You know, it wasn't seem like this, like, oh yeah, Bane's behind everything while they're going through a tunnel of love.
You're criticizing everything Tom King has done. Why is he doing this?
With Batman, it's easy.
Yeah, I had to question why I'm forgiving this of seeing Joker and Batman go through the tunnel of love, as if it was written by Tom King, I would have hated it. You know, but I think that's why. You know.
Be awesome. On the last page, it just said, "This is part of Tom King's Batman story."
Oh God!
Nightmares Part 8.
Another thing, Rob Guillory's Farmhand number 10 wrapped up the second story arc in a huge way. Very wordy issue, but good storytelling. And what I love about the way he's writing this, you can see how he's laying groundwork for the next story arc, and it's the last issue, but he's laying that groundwork, but still manages to. You don't feel empty with this story arc. You know what I mean? He's planting seeds for the future, but yet he's still wrapping up a great second arc. I love this story. I'm always vague when I talk about it because there's so many reveals that come along as you read through this story that I want you guys to pick it up, read it, and enjoy it, man. And Jason scooped me on this. I didn't see this until he sent us the message that Farmhand has been picked up by AMC. And as I was reading,
it's option. There's nothing greenlit yet.
Right.
Thank you for correcting me.
Hey, well, I just wanted to be clear. It's not in stone that it's coming, but I don't see any way that they're not going to make this a show.
Yeah.
It's such a good series.
Well, what I was thinking about reading this issue was Guillory's artwork is so like cartoony and fun, you know, like Chew and then this with AMC, they should go really freaking dark.
Yes.
And this would be an amazing horror TV show.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, his Facebook status said he's working really hard on the script right now. And so I would be very excited. I can totally imagine almost like have them have like a Walking Dead kind of drained filter, you know? It's cinematic, and it's them like planting organs and stuff, pulling them out of the ground. You can just picture everything so well, and it would work really well and have a really weird, twisted show. It really it piques my interest for sure.
Me too, definitely.
The best part is the characters, man. Yeah. You know, you take all this amazing horror, dark, like you said, planting organs. Are you kidding me? That's so great. But then the characters to carry the story from season to season.
You get that family aspect.
Yeah.
Everybody can relate to sort of the estranged relationship dude's got with the dad, who, you know what I mean? So there's double mystery there, and everybody's got goals. Yeah, dude, it's perfect for TV. It's perfect.
Last thing I'm going to mention, Guardians of the Galaxy number 7, Donny Cates, Corey Smith, start of a new story arc, which they've been teasing for a while with the death of Rocket. But spoiler alert, Rocket's not dead.
He should be. Gosh, he'd be better off.
He's not dead yet.
He looks like Darth Vader before they got him in the suit. Oh my
gosh,
like
Yoda.
Terrible.
Yeah, he looks like a little raggedy thing.
It's the death of Rocket, but Rocket is the one person left to try to rescue the Guardians from the Universal Church of Truth. But it's actually the Universal Church of Truth with a small little twist. Donny Cates, y'all, constantly making me care about characters, worlds, villains that I don't typically read or care anything about.
Yeah.
This is a great start. Faithless, this name of the story arc.
This Truthless, or that church or whatever, was in that History of the Marvel Universe. They talked about it, you know, there and stuff like that. And this is a totally flipped on its side sort of version of that, where it seems to be like they are brainwashing and doing weird things to people.
It's the
It'll
cult.
be interesting.
It's the cult. It's Kate's advocate.
Cult.
Whatever.
It's the Kate's cult. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Is it?
I got that.
Is that what he's doing?
I got the patch. I got the Donny Cates patch right here. Yeah.
Is that what he's doing? Pulling in his own
Yeah,
zombie horde of mindless.
Dude, he has a
Devil-
cult.
I know.
yeah, Devil's Advocates.
That's so awesome.
Can't believe that's what they went
Says,
with.
read comics, do dope shit.
That's awesome.
What was I gonna say?
Who's the pastor of that church? Is it
Yeah.
Noel?
Yeah,
Well,
Noel. He's
This
got
pastor
to be.
guy, his name's Patriarch, and Peter Quill's dad, but he's brainwashed. So it makes you think, who's really in charge then? Like, because he said his whole entire goal is to raise up their master, and that's what the
Yeah.
whole goal is. But then you can tell he got brainwashed. He's like possessed by something. So like, who's really in charge? Who's
Or
doing
was
this?
Jason lying to Quill when he called him, and was he faking
Yeah,
being?
true.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Right.
a weird red herring
Mhm.
for Cates to throw in there, but it's also weird that Jason would be, oh, haha, Dad, Sonny, I'm
Yeah.
the big bad again. Come on. So yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes as well. But I just want to see what Rocket's going to do.
Yeah, me
Is
too.
he-
Like, I mean, last time we saw him was during Infinity Wars type stuff, and he just went
Yeah.
to a planet to go find Gamora. I thought, right, and then he just disappeared. We never saw him again.
I
Because
think that's what
I
happened.
think Cates knew exactly what he was going to do, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I just
Well,
don't
I'm
get why
sure
he's
he did.
so
I'm sure he
beat
did.
up. I mean, I'm assuming we're going to see what happened to Rocket during this time period of why he got to that point.
Yeah, why is he all,
Decrepit? Yeah, I never
Oh,
saw
he's
this
so
degeneration
beat
of
up.
health. Yeah,
he's
Be
so
cool to
beat
see
up.
just one issue that's a flashback to what happened to Rocket.
yeah, that's
In
got to be
this
happening.
arc.
What's next? That's got to
Yeah.
be what's next.
Get Rocket to the Lazarus pit.
Really? I mean, he's so tore up. It was like a
bring in that
horror.
Marvel Lazarus pit.
It was hard, like a horror scene, and all the details on all the hospital
Dude, the
stuff.
Nova Corps is gone now. No
Yeah,
more
dude,
Nova
the whole
Corps.
Nova Corps got
Demolished.
turned into zombies or
Yeah.
whatever this thing is doing to people, which was cool. That was
very
rad.
cool. This I'm feeling almost more excited about this arc than the previous Rebirth of Thanos one.
Oh yeah, the Rebirth of Thanos one, I knew that was going to be a misleading. I knew we weren't going to get Thanos back, but it did lead to some really cool things, like this is kind of like a zombie Thanos who wasn't all there, Frankenstein Thanos or whatever.
Hey, Gomer.
Yeah.
What could this book be?
What do you mean?
What could it be?
It could be.
The freaking book of the week, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know if it just had one really good page. I was actually a little bit thrown off.
The
Guardians of the Galaxy
really
book.
good page. I mean, this had great art. This
No,
had
the
great
art was good, but it was kind of.
The story could suck. It had
Oh,
Alex Ross
man.
art, so it's the book of the week. And Donny Cates only writes one good page. The whole book was great.
Oh man,
Oh, it was
Boogie,
good, but
Boogie just exploded.
really the only reason for me to
Oh, that's
mention
great.
the book overall would have been that last page. But the arc was kind of a take back from what they were doing last arc. It was a little bit of a downgrade, I think, but it could have been. It could have
It's
been.
already
Anything
happening.
could be.
It's
Anything
already
could be.
happening. Gomer's turning on Donny Cates. It's happening.
Uh-oh.
I liked Silver Surfer Black. It was just great.
Oh, that part, yeah.
Wait, that was
issue
last week.
amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
I wasn't here.
I'm so
That-
confused.
dude, that was
I
so
haven't
good.
turned on Donny Cates 100%.
Me and Jason were all over that one too, so don't
Yeah.
worry.
No, it's great. I loved it.
This kind of villain is the ultimate villain I would like to see for Daredevil, like Patriarch. I want to see Daredevil have more religious kind of bad guys.
Sure.
'Cause, You know what I mean? Like that last one of Charles Soule, where it was all in his minds. He was a fake bad guy.
Yeah.
That villain, what thought was really cool. He looked like that Pope with a mask. That's the kind of villains I want to see Daredevil have. I want to see a religious rogues gallery against Daredevil.
It makes sense. He's in
it
Hell's
does.
Kitchen.
Exactly.
Well,
I
and
wanna
also
have
his
this constant
backstory-
torment and back and forth kind of dynamic. I want to have that explored more. It's been explored to death, but I want to see him be super undecisive what to do, and always questioning himself. Really harsh. But this is the kind of bad guy I love to see Daredevil
Like that
fight.
Kevin Smith
I would-
storyline.
Well, yeah, and I think they could play it off because Matt Murdock's whole thing is the church has been an anchor for him, but he's always been unsure of his faith.
Right.
And he uses the church to try to prop that up. I'd like to see a character who is so determined and so exacting in his faith
Yes.
that he does the same sort of things without an ounce of apprehension.
Exactly.
That's Daredevil's whole thing. Is he's
Exactly,
so
dude.
apprehensive about what
That's
he,
the
what he
villain
does.
he's missing so
Yeah,
bad, and
it's a great point.
no one's done that. That
let's
needs to happen.
tweet at Chip Zdarsky and let him know
Oh my
that this is
God,
what he
dude.
should be
Chip
doing.
would crush that.
He
That
would,
be
dude.
They'll
amazing.
tell you all to shut up because you can't pitch stories to them.
Yeah.
You
Then
know
they would
this.
purposely not
Yeah.
write it. They would purposely not write it if you pitched it to them.
Yeah.
So keep your mouth shut.
That sucks.
Yeah.
All right, what's on Gomer's pile?
I just have a couple of things. Star Trek: The Q Conflict #6 wrapped the series. Scott and David Tipton with David Messina. A very satisfying wrap to this Star Trek fan Star Trek comic series. One final note on it: Wesley Crusher, who was a laughing stock and has sort of become a hero that's sort of risen from the ashes of his own mediocrity. He had a pretty dramatic change in this, setting up future stories if they want, which is great. Wesley is hot right now. Will Wheaton has really done a meta thing with that character where everybody loves Will Wheaton to death, in some aspect. But everyone sort of always hated on Wesley Crusher. He's always been sort of a joke or a meme, but he could be good now, and they should make him good.
Well, he lied about his meme mod to Sheldon, so
yeah. Well, that's never mind. Let's move on.
Thank you, Gomer.
Huge news out of Comic-Con for Star Trek, but we won't go there.
Thank you again, Gomer.
You're welcome. Action Comics 1013, Bendis and Simon Kudranski. I'm only reading this because of Simon Kudranski, and I'm going to continue reading it because of Simon Kudranski. If he's not the next on the next list of Marvel Young Guns, if they do not sign him to an exclusive contract, they are screwing up in the biggest of ways. My prediction is he will have a huge ongoing, more than just Punisher. Punisher, for all intents and purposes, is one of the best books over at Marvel right now, but he's still just a B-lister. He's not an Avenger. He's not an X-Man. He's not, one of those big name titles, and he should be on one of those books. He's going to have a huge event book or something like that. That's my prediction for Kudranski next year. And that's it, man. I read more, but I just don't
go over them, dude. Let's go over more. I mean, we had a lot more.
Well,
you said didn't you say Action Comics? Didn't you said you want to talk about Action Comics earlier?
Well, I was just talking it, and I really just the art, man. I don't care what's going on with this book. I don't care about the Leviathan stuff. I don't care about anything. I don't care about these houses and stuff and people teleporting Superman away. I don't care. Dude, I don't care.
I feel like the series has its
so good.
Oh, dude, the art is so good.
That's the only thing I care about.
I know, dude. Like, it sounds like the story has this wheel spinning forever. Like, are we ever gonna get fucking started with?
Right.
Are we ever gonna get started on the show?
No, you're right.
It's not starting. It's like, oh yeah, same thing over and over.
It's Bendis, dude. That's Bendis.
You want me to talk smack on Bendis in a great context? In House of X, which we're going to talk about in a minute, Jonathan Hickman took all of these sort of underground and these, shady sort of organizations and had them team up in literally 2 pages. Brian Michael Bendis has been doing it for 6 months with Leviathan.
Yes.
I'm just saying, man. It's just a totally different method of delivering a story. And Bendis just isn't doing it well with Leviathan.
I do want to say that his of course, he puts, another character, Rosenthorn, up front and center, another Bendis created character. But I do like her, though. I think she's my favorite character that he's created so far recently is this Rosenthorn character. Because I like how brutal Thorn is. She's almost like a Punisher, Yeah.
Now, that's what we were talking about in the pre-show. I think before you got on, me and Gomer were talking about it. Superman wasn't even in this until almost halfway into the book.
And she's just like Typhoid Mary. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, well, all right, whatever, Bendis. But I mean, it's beautiful. Beautiful, though. The art is so good.
I love Kudranski. He might be my favorite artist of the year.
Yeah, he's going to be on the list, definitely, for the ComicCast Awards. All right, Jason, what's a couple books you want to hit on? Then we'll get into the book of the week real quick and wrap up.
Flash, issue 75, anniversary issue. Year 1 finished up. I feel like year 1 is completely skippable. It was, kind of unnecessary, dude. Yeah, but
good, I skipped it.
The last 2 stories at the end of this issue, extra anniversary sized edition. I guess kind of what Williamson is going to say. He's like more teasing what he's going to do in the future. I think eventually we're going to see a Captain Cold versus Captain Cold story, so that could be cool.
Cool.
I believe that Captain Cold, I think, is out of the Suicide Squad now. I think is what they're leaning towards. And then also Justice League Dark number 13 was really cool. Talked about Dr. Fate and who's going to take over the helm. Yeah, so they're trying to decide who's going to do it because both the previously 2 Dr. Fates don't want to do it. So I have a feeling they might make Wonder Woman Dr. Fate for an issue or 2.
Oh, okay.
That's just kind of what I'm thinking. Let's see what else.
Well, it's just like the Hammer, right? Whoever wears the helmet is Dr. Fate, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Totally.
And that's cool though.
Let's see what else. Web of Venom, Funeral Pyre.
The Cullen Bunn, I made it like halfway through.
Yeah.
I was not a fan.
I was going to say, sounds amazing.
I was not a
cool.
fan.
I thought it was cool. I thought the art was fun too. It showed Mania and the Carnage symbiote hunting her down.
Yeah.
And it was cool because, I mean, she has his powers from hell besides, her symbiote power that was taken from her. But, Carnage is hunting down people with any traces of symbiote. So he's going after her, and she pulls out all her powers from hell, and she has all these demons she, conjures up. And so they're there to defend her, and then Carnage just annihilates them all. I was like, holy crap, like, how powerful is Carnage now? He's just super overpowered. It's incredible. So I'm, like, super excited to see him just, like, demolish everyone. It's going to be so cool. So I got me hyped for Absolute Carnage. But and then also I want to really quickly mention Walk Through Hell, issue number 12. I believe that's done now. I think this was the last issue. And I felt really weird about how it ended. It was just kind of, I don't know. It didn't land for me. The last couple issues, I've been kind of confusion as well. So I don't know. I maybe I'll have to read them all in a row, and I'm going to make better sense. Also, Bone Parish. This is the penultimate issue number 11 out of 12. This one was super violent. I mean, they've all been pretty violent recently, but super awesome. And I really hope that show or movie happens because it's been optioned as well. But
cool.
Yeah, I think that's it. Then we could talk about X-Men, dude. Let's talk about X-Men.
Oh my god!
Cool. Let's get into it. We got 11 in the live chat, guys.
Remember, I was going to do
Talk about the boys.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
unless you want to skip it.
Town.
Just keep it short for time.
Okay. Also remember the Hush, Batman Hush. I watched that.
Cool.
If you read the original, the ending of this animated movie differs from that. So it's not the same thing if you read the story. However, it may disappoint you. I think it's disappointed a lot of people.
Yeah, I've heard disappointment.
How do you guys feel about
actually?
DC doing that?
I haven't read the original.
About what?
How do you feel about them always changing these animated adaptations? It seems like they're always changing the ending, like Gotham by Gaslight. They changed
when
it
works, it works.
Yeah.
When it works, it's good. So I don't mind them taking risks. If you want to read that story, go buy the comic.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what we'd rather see, like a whole entire true adaptation of it. And then people are like, oh yeah, it's a good story. Just read the original, and I mean, good job of animation. Why change it? I don't know. Surprise comic.
They tried.
I'm in the minority with that because I think if you want to read that story, go read that story the way the story was originally presented. And I think it's a good idea for them to take liberties with the source material. Because if you want to enjoy the source material, go read the source material. Why? I don't know. But I am in a minority in there. I know.
They do change. They change some of the characters in it as well. In regards to the villains, I guess, just because of notoriety, like Killer Croc is switched out with Bane. But the ending did kind of disappoint me. I don't want to spoil it, but that ending scene, there was an aspect of it that made absolutely no sense. But the dialogue is what's best, in my opinion. There's a scene where Damian talks to Bruce Batman as if he's a teenager. Because Batman's going on a date. Well, Bruce is going on a date, and Damian's talking to him like a teenager, telling him to use protection and things like that. So you got this little kid just like talking down to Bruce Batman. It's really funny. The dialogue is really good. And then I binged all of the boys. And man, if you're easily offended,
oh boy,
or sensitive, do not watch it. But I enjoyed it immensely. All the actors and actresses did great as the characters, and it was a great story. And they leave it on a nice little cliffhanger for season 2, and I can't wait till season 2.
Nice. The comic's wonderful. The boys,
yes,
wonderful.
Yeah,
comic.
for sure. Yeah, I only saw episode 1, and I was really pleased to see things that happened in the comic book on screen.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and I think they did switch out. Like they have the boys, the 7, which is the Justice League for them, had a character that was like Martian Manhunter, but I think his name was Jack of Jupiter. but they switch him out for a guy who can turn invisible. Yeah, that's one of the things they changed in the show. But I still loved it. I thought it was great. My motion comics, Gomer. I love my motion comics.
Yep.
Man Bear Pig says in the chat, how far into the comics did the first season get?
I have not watched the first season, so I'm not sure.
That's why that question was directed to Adam.
I'm not sure how much of the comics he's read.
I haven't. I've kind of jumped around in the books, so it's all kind of jumbled in my head. But I did kind of go through Wikipedia of the boys to try to get the gist of the characters and the storylines. And it's hard to say because I'm not sure that the show is actually following step for step the books.
No cosmic orgy yet?
There was
cosmic orgy
in the first episode.
Man.
Yeah.
And
was there?
We are officially demonetized.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, there was. Yeah, that scene. Now I remember.
My favorite issues. Those are my favorite
episode.
issues, man.
Yeah, that little
yeah.
Ant-Man guy. He did a running start into the girl.
Yeah. Oh man, that first episode. That first episode lets you know what you're in store for.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Garth Ennis, man. If you have any kind of qualms about anything, I don't know that Garth Ennis, because he writes it right in your face, man.
In your face.
All right, we got 10 listening in the live chat. Do us a favor, smash that like button and share out the link. We're about to get into House of X #1. So let's grow this live chat. We're going to dig deep and talk about it. This will be a fun conversation to have you guys in. Smash the like button, share out the link, and let's grow it. And let's get into the Outright Geekery Book of the Week. OutrightGeekery.com, your one-stop shop for news, reviews, previews, podcast, everything geek at your fingertips. When it runs fast, it runs great. Check them out, OutrightGeekery.com.
Runs fast all the time.
I agree,
if you're
Chad.
not using Internet Explorer.
That's right.
It'll work great.
Yeah, Garth Ennis Punisher TV show.
All about it. Yep.
We read a lot of good books this week. They all, honestly, books. You know, I would have rated all of these books very high. But they were not the book of the week, okay? House of X, #1 of 6. The house that Xavier built. Jonathan Hickman writing. Pepe Larraz, Marte Gracia. Clayton Cowles doing the lettering. Thank you, Clayton. Tom Muller did the designs, and that design certainly deserves a mention. I first picked up a Jonathan Hickman book when there was a Jonathan Hickman book to pick up called The Nightly News #1. Way back in 2006. And I immediately knew that he was going to be a great writer. I had the same feeling about Donny Cates when I read Ghost Fleet way back in the day. But through Pax Romana, the Fantastic Four, the Future Foundation, his Avengers run that led into Infinity and Secret Wars, I think it's fair to say that Jonathan Hickman has been my favorite writer of the past 10 to 20 years.
Agreed.
And X-Men, I've been an X-Men fan forever. So I was really excited to get my hands on this, and it did not disappoint at all. A new era has dawned for Marvel's Merry Mutants. Basically, Xavier has just had enough of it, and he is using everything that mutant kind is to force humanity to give them their due. Months ago, Krakoa was established as an island nation in the Pacific Ocean, and there are special flowers that grow on this mutant island. And they do multiple things. They link other parts of the island together via these portals. But they are also a source of 3 different drugs that one extends human life, one eradicates disease, and one helps with mental problems. And Xavier is just willing to give these drugs to any country that recognizes Krakoa, this new nation of mutants. So throughout the book, it's all leaning on that premise. But there's also drops of humankind's response to this action by Charles Xavier, which is all set in the backdrop of science proving that mutants will very soon, relatively soon, and ultimately overtake humankind as the dominant species on the planet. So this is the basic crux. You know, you got humankind versus mutant kind. That's your X-Men trope. That's been a trope since the beginning. But while this is the main crux of the story, Hickman has just dropped all of these pieces of potential threads throughout the story, including a series of events with Toad and Mystique stealing some tech secrets from Damage Control, and Sabretooth getting caught by the Fantastic Four, only to have Cyclops come out to have this great interaction where he brings up the fact that Franklin is a mutant. Now, the only reason I bring up that example is because what Hickman is doing is he's pulling from the old to create the new. Mystique, Toad, Sabretooth, all original Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So what you think is sort of happening is while Xavier is doing his plan, it's going to be mutants that ruin it, because that's usually what happens. You know, the mutants end up banging heads together, leading to their own downfall and humankind being raised up. But Cyclops coming out to defend what they just did and using what Xavier is doing to try to free Sabretooth is different. He typically would not have come out to save a Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. That would have been Magneto. And then you also have this other part of the story where Magneto is giving a tour to what you think are heads of state. And Magneto is the one doing it. He's the one pushing Xavier's dream now. So Hickman is sort of taking all of these tropes, using them, but twisting them just enough to let you know, no, the status quo is different. It's changed. There's a lot packed into this first issue. But it's really the struggle between humans and mutants, and that is at the front and center of the book. So that's quintessential X-Men, but everything is just twisted up anew to form this new status quo. So, man, I loved it. I could go on and on. Do you want me to keep going? You guys want me to keep going on?
Yeah, and on? Dude, I think Cyclops and Magneto were like so badass in this issue.
In two totally different ways, but still totally inherent to the character. Yes.
Cyclops is like, do you think we'd sit back and take it forever? You know, like we'll handle this in a different way next time, you know?
Yeah, and it's all going back.
You're angry about it.
Exactly. And it's all going back to where these heroes of the Marvel Universe, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, they know how good the X-Men are. They've come to the defense. They know there are good mutants and bad mutants, but they still never really have their back, you know, when it comes to these social relevant things that keep mutant kind down. And just the way Cyclops went in there, oh, hey, and tell Franklin we said, hey, it's just like, whoa, you know, he's just spitting in their face. We're doing this. And we don't care what you think anymore. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I feel like they want Franklin Richards to be on their side, but I think Franklin is probably going to stick it out and be the savior of humankind against mutants. I think is what's going to happen.
Well, it's family against, you know, the environment, really, because he's a mutant, but he's not going to turn his back on his family. But Hickman, who knows what Hickman is going to do because we have this Orchis Foundation or whatever, this Orchis group, which is Strike and AIM and SHIELD and SWORD. Hydra, all of these groups coming together.
Very small percentage was Hydra.
Small percentage of Hydra.
Well, they've had some bad things. You know? Yeah, they've had some bad moments, you know, in the past few years. But them all coming together to fight off this human or this mutant uprising should really open up some eyes to see, yeah, this is a big deal. Humans are on the downslide, man. We're going to be done. But how is Franklin going to react to humankind in defense of this, getting in bed with all of these, you know, a-holes who are building literally master mold? That was a master mold space station, dude, you know?
Yeah, the Sentinel head.
That looked like a master mold space station, and master mold was the thing that created the Sentinels, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, there's a lot going on here.
When I started this book and it's had like charts and graphs and like cool things, I was like, this is going to be an awesome book. That's like a staple, you know, it's going to be a solid Hickman book. It's going to be like a truly epic, like story.
But that's what I loved about it, man. Because
I love it.
This felt huge. This felt like a big deal. This felt like what they told us we were getting when Rosenberg took over the X-Men. Yeah, this is what I thought we were getting then. I don't know a lot of X history. This, I feel like he did such a good job explaining what's going on, explaining where the world's at, mutants versus mankind. There's a lot of information in this book. I need to read it again, but I like that I feel like if you never read X-Men in your life, you could still read this book.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a whole brand new beginning, a whole new start.
It's a whole
Gomer,
new world.
Gomer, did you read the last Age of X-Men Omega issue
No,
by
I did
chance?
not. I heard your review on it, but no, I did not.
Well, I was just curious on what your thoughts would have been on like the very, very ending of the story. It showed X-Man and Magneto, and Magneto's like, okay, yeah, well, I got to go back to the world, and then X-Man is like, well, I think half of you or whatever can stay here, and Magneto's like, yeah, I like what you did here, and we can try again. So apparently, like, they're gonna make their own new worlds, you know. So I was like, okay, well then, and then it starts like this on Hickman's run. I was like, okay, well, you can totally connect those of this happening, but they didn't.
I don't think it's.
I don't think it's any part of it at all.
Yeah,
because Hickman
but
is a genius in his own, doing his own thing.
But with that said, there are several things in this book that throw me off to say that there is some twist that we are missing. First of all, the first 2 pages are Xavier, quote unquote Xavier, because we're not exactly sure that that's Xavier. We have not seen his head. He walks around with a big Cerebro helmet on.
like Maker or something.
Like the Maker. That's my guess on who this is. Also, the word balloons, the text in this. It's not 616 text, it's Ultimate Universe
Ooh.
text. Okay, in the 616, everything is capitalized in the word balloons. But in the Ultimate Universe, they use traditional, Arabic lowercase letters and uppercase letters to start the words. And that's what they're doing in this book. It's that Ultimate Universe.
I heard there's some
balloons.
ultimate universe things happening right now in the Miles Morales Spider-Man book. And there's some kind of agency hunting down or keeping categories of people that are still alive from Ultimate Universe in the 515.
Since Secret War, since Hickman wrapped that and all of the universes collided into each other, ending the Ultimate Universe, there have been hints of other things going on. And it's been surrounding the Maker and in Miles Morales and people from the Ultimate Universe. And it just feels like Marvel isn't really grasping onto that to actually do what they could possibly have done with Secret Wars, which was end the Marvel Universe and start over. But I don't think they're going to do that here. I'm not sure what they're doing, but there's hints here that there's something going on that's big and major, that all of this is not going to mean anything once it's all said and done. And that's the only caveat I have of the book, is what may happen.
With the Alternate Universe thing, you're saying how Marvel could reboot, how Secret Wars should have been.
Yeah.
Also, to bring it back to the history of the Marvel Universe issue, there's a part in there where it brought out a gem, and it gives you access to all alternate realities and alternate universes, and no one's really used that in stories either. Like, that's just a totally untapped thing where they could just go into that and go into the Ultimate Universe again, or go into anything or any other reboot or any other franchise. They can have a whole entire new just cast in general, all new characters, and make a whole entire new universe of that. No Spider-Man, just all new characters. Who wants to read that though? But still, there's so many possibilities Marvel has untapped. But as to the X-Men, it's just so interesting. I'm so curious of what's going to happen. This is so much hype, and it's all delivering so well already.
This also, going off of the Powers of 10 book, that's going to be like 100-year time jump, is also compelling. You know what I mean? Because we're going to get both sides of this story, and then it's all going to lead into one, new thing. It's just so compelling to me. What is going to happen? What is Hickman's ultimate goal here? And you guys talked about it last week, all of like the new 5 books that we're getting, and you guys were kind of down on it. I'm not at all. And I'm in 100%. Marauders, New Mutants, X-Men, all of it. Give me all of it. I cannot wait. I'm so stoked, man. Hickman, again, my favorite writer of the past 10 to 20 years.
Same.
X-Men, probably my favorite brand in all of comics. Maybe Transformers, since the IDW run ended. But man, gosh. I really liked about this, man.
Magneto's discussion, or his relationship with the Cuckoos. He's like, what did we learn? And the one guy, politician, starts talking. He's like, no, not you.
But then he lets us all in on, no, you were right, reader. Humans are, because when he's interviewing those heads of state and taking them on a tour, you're like, okay, there's things happening here where it seems like humans are finally rising to the occasion, finding their place in society, and they're going to do the right thing. No, they're not. They're going to do the wrong thing. And
they're all wolves. Yeah.
Yes, they're all wolves. But the X-Men already knew it. They already knew they were wolves, and they let the wolves in there to show them no, you can't get over on us this
That's
time.
so good.
We've got you this time. And who's the villain? Who is the good guy? Who is the bad guy? It seems like they're just fighting for the survival of their own species. And you sort of understand that.
Yeah.
You want them to work together. That's Xavier's dream, is them to work together.
I wanted to see since I've discovered X-Men ever. Like, I wanted to see all the mutants organized and doing their whole entire thing all together in unison against mankind. I've wanted to see this forever, and it's finally happening. Everyone's on the same mental page, and of course, we know it's not going to stay like that forever because all these books are coming out and different things are going to happen, but it's so cool to see right now. Yeah. And once again, like I said last week, there's a lot of hype for House of X issue 2. That seems to be like some of the creators' like best and favorite issue of both of those series. So I'm super hyped for House of X.
It's 2 weeks. Only 2 weeks.
2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks. Yep.
Yeah, I'm stoked about the weekly run too. Getting Hawks and Pox back to back every week. It's just going to be wonderful. I've heard 91 different mutants in these 2 books.
Oh wow,
91.
I guess it's safe to say the X-Men it's going to roll on.
Oh yeah, forever now, and even stronger than it was before. Now that Hickman's back, we're actually excited about him now. I mean, I was not unexcited about what Rosenberg was doing, but with Age of X going on, it didn't feel like it was the center, the focus.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? But now, and then by the time it was the focus, they had already announced that Hickman was on his way.
Yep.
So it still took the air out of it.
Yeah,
but now we know.
That hurt
it hurt it. But now we know this is Marvel's focus for the mutants. This is what we're doing. And it was stellar. It was wonderful. $10.99.
Adam, what'd you think?
Oh, hell yeah. You're right. Totally.
What?
You should have just said it was okay.
That's the way he's feeling. He's making me, you know.
It's I'll say it was definitely a fun story. It's not your 90s throwback X-Men. I would say Gaumer talked about in his X font minute about the Ultimate Universe font and everything.
Yeah.
It kind of did feel like that because it's more there's a lot more story and I don't know how to say it, just where there's more dialogue in the more dialogue battle going on and learning the dynamic between this group of mutants and these so-called senators or whoever. It was a fun story. I could have done without all the different pages with
the
like
graphics.
I like maps and the stuff like that, but just the full pages with the weird shapes of
the sigils, the symbols and stuff.
Their own language.
The Krakoan language. Yeah, that was
it's
cool.
like filling up
that.
a whole page of that, and then maybe one little blurb about where you're at now.
And that's quintessential Hickman.
Yeah,
He's
that's
been doing that stuff
it,
about
it
Hickman.
just seemed like
that's
kind of a waste of a page to me.
But those pages were so informative. Like when they told you about the flowers and what the drugs became, it sort of felt like you were reading a file from that company.
Yeah.
I like that stuff, but sometimes it makes my head hurt because I'm trying to follow the story. and in my mind, I'm going, do I have to remember exactly what these flowers do and why?
No,
and
I don't think so. I don't. I mean,
that stresses me out, man.
Which brings me to this world or whatever they created with these. It's almost like they created their own Wonka land. It's like they're in Willy Wonka land. Yeah. And that brings me to this story is not it's not the first time it's been done. We've had Genosha.
Yeah.
We've had Asteroid M.
They mentioned Genosha in here.
Yeah, so we've had these things before, and so they're kind of trotting over old ground.
My argument to that would be this entire book is trotting over old ground. Hickman's just putting a new spin on it. And the Krakoa spin is new, where they're able to like sort of go through these gateways to different parts of of mutant kind, you know.
I mean,
all
they're talking
around.
about warfare with it. And
Yeah,
saying,
they can go
what
anywhere.
Could you do
Those
in
are the
war
bad
with
guys.
this?
Anywhere.
Those are
Yeah.
the bad guys bringing up warfare.
No,
not
no,
the-
that's
not
what I'm
the
saying.
X-Men.
But that's
Yes.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
And with
Yeah.
Magneto,
The humans
I
are the
mean,
bad guys.
we know with
Yeah.
with Magneto, he chooses what works best for him for his goals at that current moment. As soon as something better comes along, he's probably going to be like, "Peace, see ya,
Well,
bye,
sure,
bye,
sure.
Charles."
As
Because
soon
that's
as
Magneto.
Charles-
We know it's going to happen.
Well, but that's the thing. Like I said, they brought up the three evil Brotherhood members, right? And that was a trope. That's a trope where the X-Men are doing a thing, but it's going to be different mutants that end up screwing over the plan. And that's what it kind of looked like was going to happen. And then they get caught, but then it's not Magneto coming out to save his guy's ass. It's Cyclops.
Mhm.
That was the
Coming out.
best part of the
Yeah.
book.
It was the best part.
You guys
It was
both brought it up, so
so
it's
good.
dumb
Yeah.
for me to say it, but it was
Dude,
the best
It
part of
was
the book.
so good. And
Everyone's on the same
communi-
page, bro. Yeah, all the
he
mutants have the same
communicates
ideals.
exactly. He communicates so much with that interaction through using old X-Men tropes and putting new spins on them, and then just sticking it to him when he turns his head and said, "Tell Franklin I said hi" or whatever.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, dude! I had to put the book down and get off my chair. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe
what-
they're doing it."
Yeah,
How
like-
about
like
the
you used to
Omega
have-
level mutants page where
Yes,
Hickman
exactly, dude.
Hickman just points it out in 2 paragraphs. No, this is an Omega level mutant. This is the definition.
And
This
those
is why
are
you're
all
not
known.
one.
Those
Yes.
are all known ones.
So
Love-
we know
Iceman
there's some other ones,
Omega
but like
level?
those are known.
Loved it.
I don't
I love how
understand
some
how
things are
Iceman
highlighted
is
in red,
Omega
too.
level.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll
Iceman
find
is
out.
Omega level mutant, and it's described
But-
in this book because his power to make things cold is the epitome of the ability to make things cold. Nothing else, no other ability or power in the universe can make things cold as good as Iceman's ability can make things cold. Just like there is no other power, there is no more powerful magnetic force in the universe than Magneto's
Magneto. Mhm.
magnetic ability.
someone can microwave a hot pocket faster than any microwave on Earth. He's an Omega level for that.
If it's a
Adam Wade
mutant.
Adams is Omega.
If it's an Omega, if it's a mutant, yes. If it's a mutant, they mentioned it. Proteus, I'm pretty sure his power is making microwaves or something like that.
So
like how
Omega
he's
level
on the
isn't
list.
just overall power. It's
Specific power.
The specific power.
For example,
which-
Jean Grey
Jean
is
Grey,
both
yeah.
a psychokinetic and a
Telekinetic.
Oh,
and
she
a-
a psycho.
telekinetic, yes. But she is not an Omega level telekinetic. She's only an Omega level psycho,
Mhm.
whatever.
It's
Because
interesting that she was mentioned and not Xavier. I thought that was
I thought so too. That Xavier wasn't even listed on
Right.
that list.
I like how these are just the known ones,
Is Xavier
documented
still in a
known
wheelchair?
ones. No,
No.
he's walking.
As far as we know, this is still going off the current continuity where he took over the body of Phantom X after the Red Skull took his brain in Uncanny Avengers way back when what's his name was still writing for Marvel. But yeah, we're not quite sure yet though, because I'm telling you, that looks like the freaking Maker, dude.
Right?
It looks like the Maker.
Speaking of which, didn't we see Zorn in the book?
Yeah, Zorn had one panel. He was sitting there hanging out doing his,
I'm
Buddha thing.
I'm fuzzy on the Zorn hit. I thought it turned out Zorn was Magneto.
There are like 4 different Zorns, and yes, Zorn at one point was Magneto. This is Zorn 4, who is, as far as I know, a brand new sort of character who is more like a spiritual person, like hangs out on the mountains of Tibet and does stuff like that.
I like how so some things throughout these charts and graphs or whatever, they are like highlighted in red. There's some things that are like highlighted in red. So it kind of
The issue
what do these
breakdown.
stand for? Yeah.
The issue breakdown where the reading order, which is obviously the release order, but the release order isn't actually the order, Hawks 1, Pox 1, Hawks
Right.
2, Pox 2. But yeah, some of those are highlighted red
Yeah.
for some reason.
You're like,
Why?
what does it mean? I love
Exactly.
it. I
What does it
love
all mean?
I love it.
Hickman, you're
Pure
killing
Hickman.
me.
Dude, that's how it is for Black Monday Murders also. The same thing with like they have the different sigils, different meanings, different
Yeah.
like what they stand for, dude. So cool. And I asked him, I was like, did you make these like little like sigils and like symbols and things like that? He's like, yeah. And like same thing with like Secret Wars, like you made that chart and like those weird things were connecting the way the charts was like, yeah. I was like, dude, that's so awesome. Like you're such a genius. Like,
with everything ends in
these ones too, yeah.
Everything ends with his Avengers run building up to the Secret Wars. He broke down what a multiversal incursion was with 3 different pictures. And I wrote like a synopsis of that whole thing. It took me like 4 or 5 paragraphs to explain what a multiversal incursion was. Yeah, I loved his Avengers run. I've loved everything he's done, dude. Me too, everything. My nightly news, the pages are coming out of that. I've read it so much.
How's his Fantastic Four run?
My favorite FF run ever. It's so good.
Because they've got the complete collection, Volume 1.
Yeah.
And I think they're releasing Volume 2 in a month or two.
I got them on Coxology. I still have not read them, but I bought them.
He puts out this idea of a council of Reeds where the Reed Richards from every universe get together and hang out to solve problems of the multiverse.
And they play Twister.
That is
and
awesome.
It's wonderful. It's so good seeing, because some of the Reeds are just completely different. Like one of them's Dr. Doom. One of them is Ben Grimm's powers. Oh my gosh, dude. It's so good. One of them, I think, is Valeria. It's not even Reed. Oh my gosh, it's so good, dude.
He's so brilliant. I love that dude.
He's on another level, man. Somebody in the chat mentioned that Grant Morrison, was probably their favorite and Hickman second.
That was Yule, and I said he was a liar because Bendis is his favorite, and we all know it.
Because he sells well. That's the only reason. But yeah, I can totally see that. They're both just right at a different level, man. It's why Moore is my favorite writer of all time, Alan Moore, because he just wrote at a different level than everybody else. It's the difference of, pushing the boundaries of the medium that you're writing in, or just hanging out in the medium you're working in. And some people do it and some people don't. I'm gushing. I could go on and on.
Yeah, I'm going to read every single issue of everything.
I'm going to go read House of X right after we're done. I'm going to go read it. Probably the 7th time I've read it.
Yeah, this makes me want to read like Avengers and Secret Wars like all over again.
Sounds like this could have been Book of the Week.
Yeah, we should probably rate it so we can get out of here. Adam, what do you rate it? I know what these other 2 numbskulls are rating.
$10.99.
Yeah, $10.99.
I'm going to say, obviously, I did not find it as compelling as they did, but as far as the fun factor, as usual, everything it's supposed to do and get across. And if I picked up I pick up the second one, would I go through and read it? Yeah, probably. So, it did what it's supposed to do. So $3.99, I can't fault it for anything.
It's a $3.99 for me too, man.
Amen.
I'll go to $5.99.
Yeah, you go. $3.99, $5.99, $10.99.
Gomer gives it $20.
It's $20.
Another perfect rating.
2 weeks in a row.
Again, everything we read this week, our main books, were all, in my opinion, $3.99 books. Dude, even with Bullseye and the Valkyrie book, I still would have given it $3.99. It was a perfect week of books.
Oh, and Marvel's Epilogue,
Great week.
It's hard to get. Just the art alone gives it $3.99 in the Epilogue, dude.
True.
So good.
Everything except the book you picked, Adam. Everything else was great. All right, that's going to wrap it up for 154. I'm going to just tweet out the poll again for the sake of time, like I did last week, which is fine. When the conversation's going good, I would rather just do that and just tweet the poll out than waste the time. Spoiler alert. Powers of 10 is going to be on the poll. 10, baby. It's going to be on there. It's probably going to win, but if it doesn't, the X-Men is going to roll on. We're going to cover Hickman's X-Men run, and it's probably going to go on from now until eternity because these 2 are going to read every X-Men book that comes out. Jason, where can they find you on the Twitter machine?
On the other, I'm not too much on Twitter, so I want to say my Instagram machine and Facebook machine is Comics Misexplained. On Twitter, I guess Jason Cantu one, but yeah.
Gomer.
I am at Gomer.
Adam.
I'm at Adam Wade Adams.
I am at Boogie Bentley. That's going to wrap it up for ComicCast number 154. We'll be back next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. See you guys then.